Good morning everyone. Myself Dr. Shabnam Shah, Associate Professor, Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Faculty of Homeopathic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Jaipur. Today our topic is genitourinary fistula. Genitourinary fistula, the definition is it is an abnormal epithelialized communication tract between the genital tract and the urinary tract, causing involuntary escape of urine into the genital tract. It is an abnormal communication between two or more epithelial surfaces. Abnormal communication between two or more epithelial surfaces. The abnormal communication between the epithelial surface of this genital tract and urinary tract, uh, the condition will cause involuntary escape of urine into the genital tract. So the condition, it might be acquired, it might be congenital. So condition might be acquired or the condition might be generally congenital. It might be congenital, it might be acquired. So the incidence, we can see 1% of the cases of the gynecological patient, those are in the hospital admission in developing countries like ours, is generally of genitourinary fistula. The types in this, we can see the types of fistula. So in bladder, the vesico-vaginal fistula, that is commonest one, vesico-urethrovaginal fistula, vesico-uterine fistula, vesico-cervical fistula. Means vesico-vaginal, vesico-urethrovaginal, vesico-uterine fistula, vesico-cervical fistula. In urethra, the communication urethrovaginal fistula and ureter, uretrovaginal fistula, uretrouterine fistula, and uretrocervical fistula. In this, the vesico-vaginal means between bladder and vagina. The fistula is there. Vesico-urethrovaginal means between bladder, urethra and vagina. Vesico-uterine means bladder and uterus. The fistula is between, the gap is between, means the communication is between. Again, the vesico-cervical means between bladder and cervix. The communication is between bladder and cervix. Uretrovaginal, in this, the communication is between urethra and vagina. Uretrovaginal, in this, the communication is between ureter and vagina. The communication between ureter and uterus is uretrouterine fistula, and uretrocervical fistula, in this, the communication is between ureter and cervix. In this diagram, you can see vesico-vaginal fistula, which is commonest one. Here in this diagram, you can see this is bladder, and this is the posterior wall of the bladder, and this is generally the vaginal part. This is the body of the uterus, this is the fundus, and this is the cervical part, and this is the vaginal part. This vaginal part and the posterior wall of the bladder, there is the communication, this abnormal communication between the epithelial cells of these two organs, means posterior wall of the bladder and the anterior wall of the vagina. So vesico-vaginal fistula, this is the commonest communication between the bladder and the vagina, you can see, and the urine can escape into the vagina, causing incontinence, true incontinence, you can say. It will cause true incontinence, incontinence of urine. So now, the predisposing factors, we can see the communication between bladder and vagina, that is vesico vaginal fistula. The predisposing factors, the first one is, we can see the history of pelvic irradiation. There might be cesarean section, endometriosis, prior pelvic surgery, pelvic inflammatory disease, diabetes mellitus, concurrent infection, vasculopathies, and tobacco abuse might be the predisposing factor for these vesico-vaginal fistula. The commonest causes, now we will see. The causes might be obstetrical, or causes might be gynecological. So in obstetrical causes, the first one, the maximum times, whenever the cases of vesico-vaginal fistula, 90% of cases are because of the obstetric causes. The first one is ischemic cause. So in this, whenever the labor is obstructed, whenever the we generally we had seen obstructed labor topic in obstetrics. So whenever the labor is obstructed, So in such condition, the wall of the bladder will be get compressed between the posteriorly between the head of the fetus, and from the anterior aspect from the pubic symphysis it will get compressed. And whenever the labor is obstructed and it become prolonged, then the compression is for the more duration, so ischemic necrosis will be there, infection will be there because of the presence of the urine in the bladder, and it will cause clogging of that particular necrosed part, and there will be fistula formation. So this is the process by which the fistula will get formed and by the ischemia of that particular part. So next one is traumatic. So in this, whenever the delivery is instrumental, like forceps delivery. So forceps delivery, in this the fistula might the patient might develop the vesicovaginal fistula because of the trauma caused by the instrument applied, and the process, the method by which if at all it is not applied properly, so it will cause unnecessary trauma to the genital tract, and that may lead to the infection and the fistula. Again, operative delivery, whenever the destructive operations are carried out, in such cases also there might be chances of vesicovaginal fistula, like craniotomy operations. Again, again there will be uh, again gynecological causes. Gynecological causes, there will be operative injuries. So operative injuries in these cases, anterior colporrhaphy, abdominal hysterectomy, or because of the abdominal or vaginal hysterectomy in such cases where there is generally malignant, the cases of malignancy, in such cases there might be chances of formation of vesicovaginal fistula. Traumatic cases, where the injuries because of the pointed object, direct trauma might be there on the vagina, and that may lead to the formation of this vesicovaginal fistula. Malignancy, so advanced cases of the malignancy of cervix, C cervix or C vagina, that may lead to vesicovaginal fistula. Radiation, because of the radiation there may be ischemia, ischemia, and the radiation generally in case of C cervix, and that may lead to vesicovaginal fistula. Infection, in this genital tuberculosis, whenever in vaginal tuberculosis there, cervical tuberculosis there, in such cases the patient may suffer from vesicovaginal fistula. Again, types here, simple and complicated fistula, simple fistula and complicated fistula. Here the healthy tissues we can see, and there might be good access into the fistula. And complicated cases, there will be much more tissue loss will be there, and the fistula may be associated with, again rectum may be get involved in such cases. So depending on the site of the fistula, whenever the fistula is very close to the cervix, then it is also called as juxtacervical fistula. So communication is between the bladder and the vagina. So supratrigeminal part of the bladder is involved. Mid vaginal fistula, whenever the mid part of the vagina is involved, and it gets communicated between the bladder, then it is called as mid vaginal. Again, juxtaurethral fistula means whenever the communication is between the neck of the bladder just near to the urethra, upper part of the urethra and vagina, that is called as juxtaurethral fistula. Subsymphyseal fistula means there will be injury at the bladder, neck and urethra. At urethra and bladder, neck, and the fistula is between the vagina and the bladder, neck and urethra, then it is called as subsymphyseal fistula. So this is the diagram. In this diagram you can see that just close to the cervix, this is juxtacervical. Whenever the mid part of the vagina is affected, then this is mid vagina, and middle part of the posterior wall of the bladder is involved. Again, juxtaurethral means this is the neck of the bladder, and the urethral part, this is involved in near to the urethra, that is juxtaurethral fistula. So this is the types we had seen, clinical features and diagnosis we will see in the next class. If at all you are having any query, mention in the comment box. I will try to solve it. Thank you.